Today we'll visit the world of percussion. Welcome to Musical Minutes. I'm Hans Manship, your host. Scrapers, rasps, and blocks are found in all cultures. Simple instruments that stand out and set the tempo. Let's take a look. Scraper and rasp instruments were idiophones whose sound was produced by dragging a stick, rod, or bone across a notched or ridged surface. They form a globally widespread percussion family appearing independently in Africa, the Americas, Asia, Oceania, and Europe. Their materials vary: wood, gourd, bamboo, bone, clay, and metal, but their function is consistent: to create a sharp, rhythmic, textured sound used in ritual signaling, dance, and storytelling. In the indigenous Americas, scrapers included both rasps, notched wood or bone, and gourd scrapers such as the Mexican guerro with internal beads. In the Caribbean and Latin America, notched gourds or calabashes and metal scrapers also included the Cuban guayo, originally made from a cheese grater, and the Brazilian reco. They became central to dance genres such as son, merengue, and samba, later evolving into metal cylinders and spring-based instruments. In Southeast Asia, Papua New Guinea, and the Solomon Islands, bamboo scrapers such as the Philippine keguel, split bamboo tubes with serrated edges, were used in folk ensembles and communal rituals. While in medieval and Renaissance European folk traditions, they used wooden scrapers in seasonal festivals and rustic dance music. Despite their simplicity, scrapers carried deep symbolic weight. They evoked animal voices, spirit presence, rhythmic authority, and communal identity. By the 20th century, scrapers had become staples of world music ensembles, education, ethnographic collections, and sound design, preserving one of humanity's oldest rhythmic technologies. Rasps were another branch of the global scraper family. They were scraped idiophones, instruments whose sound was produced by dragging a stick or rod across a notched surface. They appeared in wood, bone, antler, bamboo, gourd, clay, and metal forms, and were used for ritual, signaling, dance accompaniment, and shamanic practice. They were globally widespread, but especially strong in indigenous North America, where they existed long before European contact. West Africa and Southeast Asia also produced rasps. They played major roles in ritual, healing, and dance. Rasps remained culturally significant into the modern era and continued to appear in world music ensembles, education, and sound design. During the pre-Christian era, before 1 AD, in northern Iran, the Amlash culture created clay rasps with serrated surfaces and sound holes. These were used in ritual contexts and were associated with magical powers. Many examples came from major Persian art collections and were among the oldest known ceramic idiophones. Early African cultures carved wooden and gourd rasps, often used in ceremonies and dances. In the 1st through the 10th century AD, archaeological evidence in North America established the presence of rasps well before European contact. They were widely distributed among Native American tribes. Rasps continued to be used across American cultures, with regional variations in wood type, size, and ceremonial meaning. Some groups used bone rasps, including modified long bones. In West Africa, senior foe iron rasp gongs were forged for ceremonial dances, combining scraping and striking functions. Rasps entered music education and world music collections as representative idiophones in the late 19th century. Rasps were later used in film scoring, sound design, and world music ensembles. Vietnamese and Southeast Asian wooden rasps, guero types, were used in folk music and dance, often paired with shakers, and were one of the first Latin instruments recorded in early 20th century New York dance bands. Here are some fun facts. The Brazilian reco evolved from a wooden scraper into a metal spring instrument in samba schools. Some Pacific scrapers were used to imitate frog calls in ritual performances. In China, the bangor was used in opera to signal comic characters. Block instruments, wood, temple, slit, log, and related idiophones, are struck idiophones made from hollowed wood, gourd, or modern plastics, producing sharp, penetrating tones through a slit resonator design. They belong to the ancient slit drum family, one of humanity's early sound-making technologies. Their origins lay in prehistoric ritual and communication, where hollow logs and carved blocks served as signaling devices and ceremonial instruments across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. In ancient China, fish-shaped muyu blocks were central to Buddhist chanting symbolizing wakefulness. East Asian traditions also developed bonza blocks for opera and folk theater, often tuned in sets. In Africa and Oceania, slit blocks functioned as community communication tools, ritual markers, and dance instruments. European folk traditions used simple wooden blocks for dance rhythms, and by the Renaissance and Baroque eras, block timbers entered early orchestral textures. By the 19th century, the Western orchestral woodblock became standardized, a hardwood box with a central slit, producing a bright, cutting attack, ideal for rhythmic punctuation. The 20th century family expanded dramatically. Jazz and vaudeville drummers mounted wood blocks on early drum kits, calling them clog boxes or tap blocks. East Asian temple blocks migrated into Latin and American percussion setups, while modern plastics produced durable jam blocks with brighter, louder tones. In the 21st century, block sounds became staples of digital sample libraries, film scoring, and world music fusions. Across cultures, block instruments carried symbolic weight. The Buddhist muyu represented vigilance. African slit blocks marked communal authority, and Western wood blocks signaled rhythmic clarity. They became standard in school music programs for rhythm training. Their enduring appeal came from their simplicity, portability, and unmistakable attack, making them a persistent idiophone family in global music history. Here are some fun facts. Jazz musicians sometimes called Chinese bonza blocks skulls because of their rounded shape. Wood blocks were among the first percussion sounds sampled in early digital drum machines. The Western orchestral woodblock produces one of the sharpest transients of any acoustic percussion instrument. My collection of scrapers, rasps, and blocks came from Africa, China, Papua New Guinea, Mexico, and the West Indies. Scrapers, blocks, and rasps are unique. They rhythmically set the pace. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Musical Minutes and will join me again as we look into the world of instruments man has made to enjoy God's creation of music. Blessings to you.